about books, and this is the first of the Indo-Indians events where we are talking about books, and we are very pleased and grateful that Gunjan is our facilitator for this event. Gunjan is a very multifaceted, multi-talented a person, and she's also the founder of a book club in Jakarta. So, this is going to be a freewheeling chat, as Gunjan mentioned, and it's going to be fun and friendly. And we will talk about the books that we have personally liked and what we would like to share a little bit about the book or recommend other books. And then it will be open to question and answers. And after that, it will be great fun. So, Gunjan, over to you.
Great. So hi, I see some familiar faces. So thank you guys for joining in. It'll be like our book club, although it'll be virtually, but good to see Nupur and Ujjwala. And then I see some new people, Mitali and Saloni.
Hi, Gunjan.
Hi.
I live in Dubai and I'm part of a book club
hello.
here.
Oh, okay.
And
You're
Poonam, just
joining
to...
in from Dubai. Wow.
Yeah, and Poonam is a batchmate from
School. Oh my God. Okay. Lovely.
a batch.
I think she froze.
She very kindly put this on the chat, so I decided to say hello to all of you and hear this out. Something very different.
There's nothing to hear out. You'll have to speak as much as hear.
Oh, I think I've lost.
No, we can hear you, Mitali.
Kavi, wait, are the others here? I think I don't see them.
Ujjwala just joined in. I can see Mayan, yeah.
You can see Mayan?
No, I mean, there's no picture, but she's there. Vaishali is here.
Vaishali is here.
Saloni Bhandari, no picture.
Hi.
Hello.
So Khintan is part of my team, and Mayana Khintan is part of my team, Ujjwala.
Something related
Ah, okay.
Okay, so should I start with my own book or?
Yes.
I could do that in the end.
No, start with your book.
Okay, so my book that I thought I'll talk about today is Purple Hibiscus. So why I thought I'll talk about that is because that was the first book that I read in the first ever book club that I was a part of, which was in Gurgaon. So while I wouldn't call myself an avid reader, avid reader is somebody who has a book in hand always. There used to be a time when I was reading that much. These days I don't read as much as I would like to. But I had joined a book club in Gurgaon just when we had moved to Gurgaon. And the lady there, the host there had suggested this book. And till that, I had a very specific genre of books I would like and I would read. And I didn't want to kind of foray too much away from those kind of genres that I liked. And when she suggested it, I did a little search. There wasn't much available, but whatever little there was, it was classified as young adult. So that first it put me off that, why are we reading a book meant for a young adult? And then it was set in Nigeria. I'd never ever read anything from Africa. And it also said that it had a little bit of a religious context. And I usually don't like to read, any religious, anything which has religious connotations. So, I mean, I very reluctantly started to read that book. But I must say that, it was a very, very powerful read, even though very simply written. So very, very, simply written and very readable, very fast moving, just like as if you are reading about somebody's diary, like a very, but even in those, and then once you finish reading the book, and then you go back, there are so many references to what is going to come. So I don't know what we are doing here. Are we revealing the book, or since we're going to talk about the book, we may as well talk about the book. And then, if you haven't read it, you can read some other books by the same author. So the author here, maybe I will write it in my chat. And I think all of us, once we are talking or after we have finished talking about a book, we can just write the name of the book and the author in the chat if anybody is interested in following her. is Chimamanda Adichie. And this was her first book. And after that, she's become this like really well-known public figure. She's written, I think, 4 or 5 books and some essays and all that. But it's a book about this brother and sister, Kambili and Jaja. Kambili, I think, yeah, who come from a fairly affluent Nigerian family. Father's very well placed, and it starts by showing how he's like really kind towards the community. He gives a lot of, he helps a lot of people, and he's looked at as some sort of a head. He's a little anti-government and like all hunky-dory. It's coming of age of a story of a young girl. She falls in love with a priest. I mean, there are a lot of things that are there, like a usual nice family, church-going family. But there are these instances where you see, there are political upheavals happening in the environment, and then there are these things that come up slowly, which show that it was a very repressed household where she comes from. She goes to her aunt's house where she's amazed by the laughter and just the free atmosphere that was there. There were no do's and don'ts that were placed, which in her house were really upheld. Like her father would tell everybody that my children are not the kinds who haven't been brought up in a way where they can just speak up or just be loud, etc. And then there is one time, I think that I don't remember it very clearly, but somebody died, I think grandmother or somebody, and
Grandfather, yeah.
grandmother, right?
Grandfather, I think, yeah.
Cousins, like her aunt's daughter or the aunt, is like really sobbing away. She's crying like very, very loudly. And Kambili that time, like it's written that she's thinking to herself, oh, she hasn't learned the art of crying silently. And when you read that, you don't it doesn't register at that time. But as the book goes along, you realize that her father is a really abusive man. I mean, he used to abuse his wife to the extent that she miscarried, and also used to physically abuse. I mean, not sexually, but abuse this young little girl to the extent that he put her feet in hot boiling water and all kinds of stuff. And so the family's gone through all that, and in the end, I think the mother kind of she comes forward and she kills her husband, and the son stands up for the mother and takes the blame. So that's the book. I mean, it's so powerful. When it's like it just made me read that book again just to get those nuances. Once you know what happened in the end, and then when you read these kind of sentences or references that she's talked about through the book, and then it's very nice to read about a country that I never read about or never really was interested in, Nigeria, as much, and the culture and the food. And although there are some words in Nigerian, whatever that language was, I don't know which one doesn't understand, but still it like peppered the whole thing. And it was quite different from what I had read so far. So it had a very deep impact on me. One, because it was my first book of a first book club, which I would have never picked up on my own. I mean, had I gone to a bookshop, and we used to go to bookshops in those days, right? So if I had gone there and somebody had suggested that you read that, I would have never picked it up on my own, but I'm glad. So that's what book clubs do. They make you read books that you would otherwise, be wary of reading. And so much so that when we started our book club here in Jakarta, I'm not the founding member. I'm one of the people who just got together and started this book club here. And it was so I was the first person to suggest a book, and I suggested Purple Hibiscus, and I think everybody who read it liked it. I think Nupur was a part of.
Yeah, I read it too. Yeah,
yeah.
And it's a I was just going to say, it's a very slim book, but the amount of pathos it evokes. There were times when I had to put the book away. I couldn't read further. Yeah.
And pathos, not like it wasn't very dramatic, or it wasn't like the writing was so emotional that it's going to make you write it heart-wrenching at times. So if you haven't read this author, I would highly recommend that you read her. And now she's of course like a really like a cult figure in in the young writers. She's won a lot of awards, and she's a big feminist, and she wears Prada, but she also says that all of us should be feminists. And so a great person to follow and read. She talks a lot. She gives a lot of TED Talks, and so highly recommend that. If you haven't read her, then her second book was Half of a Yellow Sun. I haven't read it, but I think that's the book that has won a lot of awards, like even more than Purple Hibiscus. I've read.
I actually heard her talk in Sri Lanka at the literary fest there, and she speaks very well also. I mean, so it was nice to see her. But I don't think she's that young. I mean, she may be writing for.
Young is relative now, Jula. So
yeah. Especially when I'm pushing 60 now. Yeah.
She wrote her first book when she was 31 or something. So not that young, but young to have gotten.
I never thought that the book was addressed to young adults. So it's the first time I've heard. So I never, when I read it, and it wasn't, you don't know. I mean, at that time, 10 years ago, there weren't such classifications in India as such, or the neighboring
young
countries.
adult for me would be Harry Potter or right? This was definitely not one of
not that. Yes.
She's 42 now, so yeah, she did start writing very young.
Very young, and what a claim.
Have your boys read it?
Purple Hibiscus, I don't think so. I don't, so my boys read a lot, and I don't push my books in them. They're the ones who are recommending books. But
I'm just interested in a young person's opinion.
Now I'm hoping that they would be a little less feminist now that it's my time to become a mother-in-law. So please, everybody, try and read something from her. If not a book, then she's written a beautiful essay also. I think if you Google, she writes a lot, so would be good. So that was me and our book club. So who would want to go next?
Thanks, Gunjan. That was really interesting, and talking about South Africa as a place that we're looking at the continent and knowing so little about it. A book I recently read, again, young adult, was called Binti.
Okay.
It's called Binti, and it's written by an African writer. And when I read it, I thought to myself that if I had read this book when I was in school, I might have been very good at math.
Okay.
So because it talks about how this girl gets introduced to mathematics, and she gets used to fractals, to patterns, and how much joy she finds in reading that book. And I'm just going to share a preview, just an image of the book. If you like, I can share so you can see.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I tried to do that. I didn't know how to share screen.
So
it's share content. Is there somewhere on top?
You can share.
How do you get the content you want to share? I didn't know how.
From your library, photo library.
Next time.
Yeah, next time. So I'm just going to share the cover, which is also so powerful when you look at it. Can you see my?
Wow!
Wow!
Yeah. Super.
Yeah. So it's like science fiction, and it's
a bit scary.
So this is a kind of a mud that they're putting on their face. So the mud has has a fragrance of its own, and they make it into a jar and they put this, so that it gives them that sense of protection, you could say. And and then there are 3 books. So in every book she carries this jar of this mud with her, even when she travels on interstellar space or wherever, and she carries that.
How did you find this book?
So my son recommended it. So my son is a very diehard science fiction fan. And he says, Ma, you should read Binti. And it was an amazing book. And I would recommend, not only us to read it, but even for young women, young girls, even schoolgirls to read it and just kind of look at how how math can be fun, and look at math in a totally different way. And it's nothing like what we usually talk about math. So I would highly recommend this book. This is a good.
But it's not too mathematical.
No, it's not mathematical at all. It's not. It just talks about how math is part of her. Like, she kind of calms down when she's thinking about math and the patterns and things like that. And and another book in the same young adult category. It's a 100-page book, 105 pages to be exact. It's a novella. And I like that book a lot as well. It's called, and that is science fiction actually. And, and it's all about a forger. She's a Shy. The name of the heroine is Shy, and she's a forger. And it talks about to make a nice forgery, how you really need to understand something completely. Just like if you do art, you need to observe it really carefully. You need to understand it really, really carefully. And this is what it talks about. And I really enjoyed it because it was, so this is, I'll just share my screen and you can see this is The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson, which he's a very well-known science fiction author. And this is about this young girl, and they catch her because she's forged a piece of art. And afterwards they put her in prison, and they said they will release her only she forges the emperor's soul, because the emperor has been an assassination attempt and he is comatose. So she has to bring him back to life, and because he has no soul now, she has to forge his soul. So that's why the name of the book is The Emperor's Soul. So and I love science fiction because they come up with such ideas, and even fantasy, the kind of ideas they come up with are things that you might not have thought of before. And
I love science fiction too.
I can't read it. I must try reading it. I just can't. I can't.
You didn't read Asimov and stuff like that?
Sorry?
Isaac Asimov?
Of course.
I haven't.
So these are just recent readings. So
I'm excited. I'm so outdated. I've not heard these new names. So I've quickly added them on to read.
Even I've not read any science fiction till now. Even I should try it out.
I've never read any.
Yeah, same here.
So that's me. And who else would like to go ahead?
So just a little recommendation when we talk about the book, it'll be nice to give a little bit about the setting, about where the book's from, and what is it that appealed to you about the book, and why would you read it again? So just like some usual book club sort of questions. It's all of us sharing books that have made an impact on us. And
true. I agree. So in fact, The Emperor's Soul, I read it twice because I missed some parts, and I said it's so short. It's only 100 pages, so it is easy to read, and to be able to put in so many new ideas and so many new thoughts into 100 pages is amazing. And I think he is a great writer.
Nupur, would you want to go next?
Okay, since nobody else is volunteering.
Or you're on my screen. You're the next person on the screen.
The order is different on everybody's screen. No, you're not. You're third on my screen. So anyway, the book I'm going to talk about is again that we've read in our Jakarta book club in the in the first year itself. So, Ujjwala and Anu, who joined later, were not part of the book club then. So this book, the title is a bit of a mouthful. It's called The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. Okay, so I can see it's familiar. People are familiar with the title. This is written. The authoress is Mary Ann Sheffer. She wrote it in 2008. The book has subsequently been made into a film. The film was extremely mediocre. For those of you, yeah, compared to the book.
I've just seen the movie.
Yeah, I've also only seen the movie.
Well, the movie is awful if you've read the book. Anyway, yeah. So this book is, the book is actually an exchange of letters between the protagonist and her literary editor, and then people on the island of Guernsey. So this is set in just immediately after World War II. So it's set in about 1946 or 1947, and when the world is just recovering from the after effects of the war, and books are hard to find. People are being extremely thrifty with what they have because there is very little of everything in the world. So it's a little difficult for us to imagine a life like that, where you couldn't buy books, or you couldn't find books that you wanted to read.
We can imagine it now a little bit.
I just got to say, I hope it's not coming our way.
We actually can.
Yeah.
It can. Yeah.
And and also a time when handwritten letters were so precious. There's a value attached to them that again we can't imagine today. So the whole book is an exchange of letters between between the protagonist and the people, and how she finally goes from London to Guernsey, and how she falls in love with somebody on that island, and how she falls in love with the people on that island. And well, I don't want to tell you all too much about what transpires there, but it's basically about how they survive. So Guernsey was occupied by the Nazis during World War II. So there's a bit of actual history there. It was the only part of British territory that was actually occupied by the Nazis, and what they went through and how they managed to survive the occupation. So it's about, and this comes out in the course of the letters. The letters are warm, they're funny, they're heartwarming, also a little sad sometimes. But at the end of it, the movie leaves you feeling really, really good about life in general. So, and I've recommended this book to a lot of people over the years. And I think almost everyone has come back and told me how much they loved it. Yes,
there is some chatter in somebody's background.
It's the news, I think. News or TV or something.
Can you switch that off or go mute?
Yeah, I don't know whose it is.
And I don't know.
It ain't me, babe.
Yeah, okay. That's okay.
Okay, so I'll put the title down.
I've put it down, Nupur.
Okay, you put it already?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
So, the interesting thing here was that we also read it as a part of our book club here. And Rita Srivastav, who's a part of the book club, she actually, did she go then? She went to London to be with her daughter, and she actually made that trip to Guernsey. Did she do that?
I don't know. She was talking about it, but I was at London airport once, and I saw a flight taking off for Guernsey.
Yeah.
I got so excited by just seeing that small aircraft. It couldn't have been more than
with her, because I think she was really keen to make that trip. So she said, "No, I must get on that boat, and I want to go and see it." And so that's the kind of effect books can have on you. You want to go and actually visit that place where this was set.
So Guernsey is one of the Channel Islands, so it's off mainland England. And I think they have a lot of independence even today in terms of taxation laws and stuff.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Anu, you're next on my screen.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to see you all after such a long time. Hi, Ujjwala. I like your new look, huh?
Who's joining me? Nobody. I haven't managed to convince even one of my friends, acquaintances.
I may join you, Ujjwala.
We have one person in our building who's done it, Ujjwala.
Yeah, one person has done it. Yeah.
But I don't know that person.
Yeah.
We should make a WhatsApp group of you brave ladies.
Why brave? Why brave?
Very brave, man.
Very brave. I can't do it, I mean, I've stopped coloring my hair, but
Okay,
totally.
that's the book club. I'm the moderator.
Let's go to the book club. So my one is Where the Crawdads Sing. I was going to suggest it for my next book club. I don't want to give too much about this book because you will lose the fun of the book.
Actually, we can talk about the book, Anu. We can talk about the book.
We can talk about the book.
That's the reason why we are here. We are here to discuss the book that we've liked, and you can share what the book is about.
Okay, I'll just share the basic plot, but I don't want to give too much away because the twist is what which makes the book very interesting. So I don't want to give the twist away. So it is set sometime late 60s. It's about this little girl. Her father is an alcoholic, and he is abusive. Her mother leaves her.
Anu, can you repeat the title?
Where the Crawdads Sing. It's made into a movie also. A beautiful book to read. Very simple book. Very nicely written. So this girl, she's all alone with her father. Her sibling also leave her. And she doesn't want to go to a foster care. So she starts hiding in a marsh. And people start calling her the marsh girl. So when she's in the marsh, she gets friendly with the birds and she starts studying the birds. And then she forms relationship while staying in the marsh, and how she starts selling lobsters to the people in the village and starts earning her living. And then she meets these two boys and she forms a relationship. And then it's a murder mystery, but that's the twist. So that you have to read the book. If I give away the twist, you'll not enjoy the book. But it's a beautiful read. I mean, I got emotional, but it's not a sad read or like you start crying or something. But it's a beautiful read.
Is it the person's first book?
This is our first book, and there's another book by this lady is, I think, it's Delia Owens. That's her name. And she has, this is her first book, I think. And there's another book which I want to read by her. It's called Cry of Kalahari. So this is her first book. Try to read it. And it's, I mean, it shows how brave she is, how she survived. She can recognize all about birds through the feathers of the birds because she used to collect the feathers of the birds and she used to talk with them, and she kind of forms a relationship with the birds. They become her family. And by studying the birds and the feathers of the birds, she can recognize the birds, she can write about them, and she becomes a very famous person. And there's a murder. Someone is murdered, and people start, the police and everybody thinks the marsh girl has murdered her. But how can she murder somebody when she's not even been out of the marsh? She has not been to the village, she's not been to the city, she doesn't know anything. She hides in the marsh. So how can she get away with the murder? That's the full twist of the story. That has she done the murder or committed the murder, or somebody else has committed the murder? So it's a very interesting read, and it's an emotional read. So
I'm getting stressed out now. I've already got 3 books added to my list.
This book, I read it twice. Recently again, I read it because I liked it so much. So
where is it? Is it US based?
It's US based. It's I think Carolina based. It's a marsh, late 60s. So you get that 60s, effect in the book. And I'm like, why does it not author write any other books? I don't know, because she's a good writer. Very gripping book. I mean, I could not leave this book. I finished it.
When was it written? It's recent, isn't it? It's year before last or last year or something like that.
Let me see when it was written.
I mean, give her a break, yeah.
No, she's got the book right next to her.
No, it's in there's some notes.
Oh, sorry. I thought the book
give the author
was next to you. Forget it. It's not that important.
Published 2018. Yeah.
Because I remember we put it in our book club, but we never got around to reading.
So I read this book in my other book club, which is now dissolved. So I read this book in my other book club, and it was, the people really liked it. So then I wanted to give it. Remember we were talking, Gunjan, we wanted to have a nice read.
Did Gunjan read it?
No, I didn't.
No. We were talking about this book when we were saying we didn't want to read anything depressing or anything sad. We wanted to read something nice. So I had suggested this book that time.
I'm just curious, did Arundhati Roy write any other book after her?
Yeah, there's a new one out.
The essays.
Ramesh has read it. I haven't read it.
Those are just some essays that she's written, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Right?
Difficult to get over all the acclaim you get from the first book and start writing your second. I think that's more difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
Writing the first one.
Yeah. So this one was her first one. That's why maybe and I think the movie also did quite well. I've not watched the movie, so I have no idea about the movie. But after reading a book, I really don't want to see the movie. That's the thing. Yeah. So that's it. That's one of my what I would like to share. Yeah.
Vaishali, you're next on my screen. You want to go next? Or
okay. So I'm actually going to talk about 2 books.
Good.
So one, I think everybody would have read, Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier.
Oh yeah, my favorite.
Time favorite, and I think I remember it so vividly because I was a teenager when I first read it, and my mom recommended this book to me, and there was no internet those days, and we had to be kept busy in the afternoons, and she just said, go to the school library and pick up this book and come back and read it. So I did that, and I was completely engrossed in the whole book, and I loved it, and I finished it, and I told mommy, okay, I finished the book, and let's talk about it. So she said, okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. And I said, yes. And she said, what was the girl's name? And I was like, I just, and I was like, hang on, okay, wait. And she was like, you just finished reading the book. What's her name? And I couldn't remember it. And I reread the book all over again, only looking for that name. And I didn't find it, right?
Yeah.
So it was written in first person. Nowhere in the book is the name ever mentioned. And it's a beautiful book because it's obviously a murder, supposed to be a murder mystery, landed up being a love story, and I'm a sucker for love stories. So I think it started then, way back, as a teenager. Of course, it was, set in the early 1900s, 1938 is when Daphne du Maurier wrote it. And then she wrote many books, around that time as well. And this one, of course, became very famous for more reasons than one. A murder mystery linked with, a beautiful love story, lovely memorable characters, a memorable first line, last night I dreamt I went to Mandalay again. So forget that. I've gone back so many times to look at the different nuances of relationships, of sinister people, sensitive people, and how it all comes together and stays intact. And then of course you probably know that Alfred Hitchcock made the movie in black and white, and guess why I was glued to the movie? Because I was so curious to see how is it possible in a movie not to call another person by their name. So, trying to know the girl's name. But of course, Hitchcock being Hitchcock, actually implemented the movie without naming her either. So that mystery remains, and to date, I think it remains one of my most favorite books. Daphne du Maurier wrote very many other books as well. The Frenchman's Creek was also very nice.
Oh, I loved it. I love Frenchman's Creek.
Also set in Cornwall, in a love story, the pirate, and so she going off with her children, unhappy marriage, and then she finds a French pirate, and then in the end, it's a beautiful story. But in the end, lovely. Despite the love and everything, she decides to stay on with the family. So again, beautifully written. The other very famous one,
Cousin Rachel.
My cousin. Yeah, another beautiful movie with beautiful eyes and lovely, lovely story, very powerful. So I've sort of enjoyed her writing. I think she writes in a very gripping style, and it's storytelling at its best. Beautiful English, well written, emotions being captured. If you go back to Rebecca, the protagonist is a young, naive, innocent, early.
Right.
Like a 19-year-old girl, and you see her progress. Towards the end of the book, she's got confident, she's much more mature, she's gone through jealousy, she's gone through first pangs of love, and then she realizes that life is much harder than just romanticizing that you marry. So I think that was really lovely. And if anyone hasn't read Rebecca, please go ahead and read it. Read all her other books as well, Daphne du Maurier's books. The other one, which I just wanted to very quickly talk about, is a not so famous one called Loving Frank. Okay, so it's written, so it's again a love story. Like I said, I'm like very much into stories, and then, I think it's really the life story of Frank Lloyd Wright, the famous architect, right? There's tons of books written about him. And he's actually very famous, and he's got his own very distinctive style. If you go to the US, specifically to Chicago, you'll see all his architecture all over the place, and their museums and all kinds of things. But this particular book is written from the perspective of his mistress, okay, Nema Borthwick. And it is so well written. I just chanced upon this book at one of these, I think a Periplus, which used to be open on one of these shops in Antasari. And it's not very easy to find. The only second copy I found was in the US on my last trip in Chicago at the Frank Lloyd Museum. I found a second copy of that book. But it's really, really well written. And all of his stories are from his perspective and what he did and how great he was. And suddenly you look at his life from the other side, from, the story being the same story which everybody knows, but told from the eyes of the mistress. And it's so beautiful again. It's evocative, emotional, it draws you in, it's unputdownable. So if you get a chance, read it. If you don't, I can photocopy it and give it to you. I have a copy. And this time when I went back to Chicago, of course I wanted to go to Frank Lloyd Wright's house and the museum, which is very small, connected to his house. And we did the walk. So we did a whole 1 hour walk looking at his architecture and, all the houses and everything in that suburban area. And of course, I kept grilling the guide about Nema Borthwick, what about her? And where did she stay? And how was it with him? And, so I think it's wonderful when you read books and stay with you, and then you want to take that experience into your real life. So that's my contribution.
How different would a mistress's view be from a wife's view? Just curious.
I think it's very beautiful, Gunjan, because she's supposed to be the other woman, right? And this is, we're talking about the early 1900, where it was complete catastrophe, you know, that I mean, the biggest of all time. So it's not like now where open relationships are acceptable and, you know, things are out there. This is when society was so closed, and I'm going to go through this, and it's not in first person, mind you. Okay, so it's in second person. So this person is actually, seems to be as if she's interviewed the people, but she hasn't really. She's actually pieced the whole book together through interviews, excerpts, reviews, and so on and so forth. And obviously it's fiction, right? So she's created a lot of the dialogues, etc. But it was a very interesting insight to see it from that perspective.
Nice.
So Vaishali, I want to just, so the way your mother recommended Rebecca to you, I recommended Rebecca to my mother.
Okay.
After she read it, for the next 5 years, she said, "Waisi kitab chahiye mujhe." I said, where can I get you another Rebecca from?
I know.
Even the movie, it was so gripping. I still remember that scene when she walks down the stairs wearing that gown. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, it's one of my most favorite movies. I mean, I still get chills, you know, when you see it's such a good thriller.
I know.
Beautiful movie.
Hitchcock to make it, you know, I mean, no
one can do it. Yeah, no one can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. So Pritika, you're on my screen as the next person. Would you like
sure. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. So recently, I have been into a lot of non-fiction. I don't know if you have known about *Sapiens* and *Homo Deus* by Harari.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm not a person who reads a lot of non-fiction, but then these books by Harari were totally gripping. So if any one of you are into non-fiction, I would totally recommend it. However, I would not be talking about it today, but I'd like to talk about this book. It's called The Palace of Illusion. Right? So have any one of you heard about it before?
Read it.
Read it? Yes. So it's a very well-known book though, by Chitra Banerjee. Yes. So as we all already know, this book tells the story of Mahabharata through the perspective of Draupadi, right? And as Vaishali already mentioned, it's so nice to look at new perspectives, right? A common story of Mahabharata, which we already know about. It was so fascinating to listen it from the actual lady who was the main reason for the war in so many sense, right? Isn't it? So, and it makes me feel flabbergasted at how she was given so little space in all this narrative that we have heard so far. So it was a nice read, and it opened up a lot of new perspective. The same old Mahabharata, but a totally new one in that sense.
The Great Indian Story was also about the Mahabharata. Was it Shashi Tharoor's book?
I have not read it, but it somehow, I think it does a comparison of the political system and Mahabharata, something like that. Though I haven't read it.
Yeah. So, just as in different perspectives, you were talking about being interested in it. I found that book also interesting when I read it because it was different.
Correct. So, these kind of things, it really gives you a new perspective of whatever you already know about. So it's her story, her life, from her words, which we hardly knew about.
So any interesting scenes that you would like to relate from there?
Well, there were a lot of interesting scenes, but I like a quote which the author had written. And, this is like, remember, sister, wait for a man to avenge your honor and you'll wait forever. So go and avenge yourself if you want to be avenged, correct? So I really like that thing, that like how she put it down, and the whole scene that wasn't, it was very strong. So you get that kind of good that yes, you have to be there. Yes.
Thank you, Pritika. Anju,
thank you so much.
Hi everyone.
Hi. Hello.
Hey Anju.
How are your eyebrows looking so nice and trimmed and
Yeah,
because
by
by the time you reach our age, there is nothing which grows to be trimmed.
Shut up! I've got very chin hair. Don't talk to me about it's not growing where it should.
I just brush them up before a Zoom call.
I have to use a hairbrush these days, you know.
So I hope everyone must have been reading. I'm sure that's what we have been doing. And as you were talking about books not being available to us, and that's where the advantage of having a Kindle comes up.
Yeah.
So I have access to all the books being recommended. And this book that I have up for recommendation today is something that I brought to my book club. And we had debated over it because I think we had just finished a tragic book. So everybody felt that this book also promises tragedy. It's called The Dutch House by Anne Patchett. And I really loved the book. Even though the theme sounds a little sad, it's the story of a pair of siblings who are very close to each other. And strange thing is, it's been written by a female author, but it is the narrator, the person who's narrating the story is the male sibling. So it's a very interesting twist in that manner, I thought, because she is writing the story through a male perspective. And it just tells a beautiful story of sibling love and how they started out in their childhood, where they lived in this awesome house. And then there is a twist, the modern Cinderella twist, where they get thrown out by the stepmother, and how they traverse through the rest of their life. But their fixation is they're thrown out of the house. But as adults, I won't reveal too much, but as adults, they find themselves in a car across the house, and they sit there looking at the lights coming on in the house, and they wonder what is happening inside and how they remember their times inside. And again, I will not reveal what happens in the story, but it's most beautifully written. And even though it sounds sad, it is not really. There never was a point where I felt like I have to cry tears. It was so beautifully written that it just felt very heartwarming to me. That is a book which I think I would go back to reading again. So I highly recommend that. If any of you can get your hand on it. I read it on Kindle, so I don't have a physical copy. That's why we had to put it on hold for our book club, as some of you might know it. But if you can get your hands on it, it's a lovely book.
Yeah, the book had a lot of good reviews last year. I remember reading about it in every magazine.
It was nominated it was there in the list for the Pulitzer Prize for 2020.
Okay.
So it was beautifully written. And another book which I have been meaning to read again, which I read probably in my childhood or early teenage years, it often draws me again. I haven't ever read it again, but I think I'm going to pick up Alice in Wonderland. I don't know, for some reason. I've been thinking about that book. I'm sure everybody must have read it. But I just, it's been some weeks now that it's been on my mind that I want to go back and read it again as an adult and see, because ultimately I think it talks about a lot of mental illness. So it would be an interesting twist to read it as an adult now, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Psychedelic drugs is more like it.
So that's going to be probably my next read now.
Nice.
Okay, can I go next, Gunjan, because I need to leave?
Yes, please do.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to quickly talk about this author that I think holds a really important part in my life, because I started reading him when I left home to the hostel, and he was always a source of comfort in the hostel, in a new place, without familiar people around. And I have continued to go back and read to him, and I read him now especially because I don't want to read anything heavy in these days of COVID-19. There is enough nonsense going on that I really, really don't go back. So he is a thriller writer. The genre is absolutely murder mystery thriller, and his books are totally, completely page turning. I can't put the book down till I've finished. And
you have to reveal the secret quickly, like.
Yeah. I'm telling you. So no. I'm an ardent James Patterson fan, and I think my whole library is full of his books. Whenever I travel,
which one? I missed the name.
James Patterson. Okay,
James Patterson.
Yeah, and the very first book that I read and which totally made its mark on my brain was Kiss the Girls. I don't know if you've seen the movie, which is not half as good as the book was. But again, thriller, and you just cannot put it down. I mean, I can't. So, and for me, espionage, thriller, murder mystery, I mean, it's a comfort book. You know, that's what I would like to read when I'm either down or having a bad day, because it's not something, I don't want to read something sad. I don't want to read something that pulls me down and, feel worse. So that's why I told Gunjan, I said, I haven't read anything great in these last few weeks, but I would like to talk about Patterson because I really enjoy reading him. And now I have got to go. Sorry, ladies, but it was nice talking to you all.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye, Sapna.
Thanks, Sapna.
I have to say this, that, so Nupur and I go a long way, and she's the one who actually got me into whodunits. And I remember we used to be in Bandung, and there was really nowhere we could get anything to read, like no book shops and all that. And we would get back books from India, right? Like we would go back to India and our suitcases would be full of, at least some part of it was full of books. And she's the one who got me hooked to two great authors. One was Colin Dexter.
Oh.
Yeah.
I read all of his book, and
I have all of them.
So do I. And I went to Oxford. We went to UK. I especially went to Oxford, and I especially went in. So they actually have these places where they have where he's written his his books. I mean, the setting is there. So we went and visited those. And the second one was Sue Grafton, who had, I think, went till the time.
Yeah.
She died before she could complete her Z.
Yeah, so till the time I think we were in Bandung, she'd just done about G or H probably, and
now it's Y.
And they used to be one, the ITB, so the famous technical institute in Bandung had a library, and they were the only ones where we could find some English books. And I remember I would go there, and at that time you just needed like a name of a good author so that you can just like read all his books. And I would feel so sad when I would be on that last page, because then we had to wait for another year before we could go back to India. But yeah, I credit my my love for whodunits to Nupur here.
Oh, thank you. I have everything by Sue Grafton right up to the one when she died.
Yeah, so great. Although I stopped enjoying them after, I don't know, at Q, I think. Yeah.
I mean, they weren't very, they're not literature, right? Yeah. Read and forget.
So Ujjwala.
See, I have a problem. I haven't read the book, but I mean, I haven't read about the book recently, and I have this terrible memory problem. But I still want to talk about two books, and because I still remember them despite my terrible memory. And one is Hotel New Hampshire by John Grisham. I read it when I was in college, I think beginning of college. And I used to still think so much in terms of black and white, good or bad, and this book covers a whole bunch of things. And one of the things it touches on is incest. And I remember being horrified about Carpenters because I loved their songs. And then I found out that the brother and sister were in love, and it just horrified me at that time because I just couldn't imagine something like that to be acceptable. And so John Grisham writes about incest in part, and he somehow makes it okay. So for me, it was like, it was learning to accept shades of gray. So that book has stayed with me because of that. The second thing is that I started reading very early, Enid Blyton's, those kind of books. We had nothing to do in Calcutta growing up. You read books. And one of my father's friends was a publisher. So he would bring cartons of books of authors that we'd never heard of. But you were so desperate during the summer holidays, stuck at home, that you read them all anyway. And So I read mostly Western authors. I didn't get a chance to read any Indian authors. And then later, when I was in my teens, I started reading some male Indian authors. And then when the women Indian authors came onto the scene, I was like all out grabbing them, reading them, whether they were good, bad. And I think it started with Anita Desai and all, very good books to read. And one of the books that I read, and I hunted yesterday for it desperately, I found new ones, but I couldn't find the name of the author. The book, I think, was called Maya. It was a story about a young girl. It's from her perspective, her mother's perspective, her mother's best friend's perspective. And they talk about the same incident, plus they move the story along. And I was fascinated because until then I had read from one narrator's point of view, maximum two. I had not read any stories from so many people's point of view. And I talked about this book to everybody, saying how wonderful it was and how different it was. And I was told about Akira Kurosawa, who had done exactly this some 30 years before in the 50s, when he wrote about Rashomon. And surprisingly, I had seen that play in Delhi. I think LSR had got people from Japan to come and do the play in Hindi. But because they did it in such a peculiar manner, I only spent all my time laughing because they said, "Tum kahan ja rahe ho?" So the whole play was, spoken like that. So it became funny more than serious. And it's actually a really serious story about a robber who rapes a woman. And then the story from his perspective, the raped woman's perspective, her husband's perspective, so it is from a lot of perspectives. So I realized that this woman had actually picked it up from him, this idea of telling this story from different points of view. So it just left a mark on me because it was different how people saw the same incident. I think a guy acts funny with the girl's mother in the fair, and how she sees it, how her friend sees it when it's narrated to her, and things like that. So I'm really sorry that I didn't get the name or the author. Oh. But I loved reading until recently. I read all the time, and last 5-6 years I've fallen off the wagon. But I just love hearing people talk about books. I just cannot get myself to focus on it.
Sorry, Ujjwala, is Maya the name of the book? Is that the only title, or is
no? I'm going to find out and I'm going to send it to you because it's bothering me now that I can't find the copy of the book. Should be with me because I didn't give that book away because I liked it so much.
Yeah.
But there are new books called Maya, and not this lady and not the book that I was talking about. So I'll find it. It will be there in our books.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Nice. So there is a series on Netflix. I mean, it's a love story kind of a thing called The Affair. I don't know if anybody's
yes.
Quite a well-made thing, and that also is from three people's perspective, 3 or 4.
Yes,
so
yes.
Always interesting.
But it's a little more difficult to tackle, I think, when you see it, because it takes too long to get there. When you're reading a book, it's just easier to accept the perspectives than The Affair. I fell off the wagon on The Affair also towards the end. I think I enjoyed it in the beginning very much.
I think it's just that. So, it was, I was following it from when it came in. So then the break between season 1 and season 2 and then season 3, I think that kind of, but I quite enjoyed it. I liked that.
I was going to say that's what has happened. When you say the last page of a book and you don't want to, last few pages and it breaks your heart. Right now, serials do that to me when I'm on the last episode.
Yeah, same here.
For the last 1 week. And I was in the last episode, and I didn't watch it till for 2 days because I didn't want it to end. Then there would be nothing else to watch. So
hey, watch Taj Mahal.
I didn't kind of. I saw
like it. Still in the beginning of it.
Patalo Gunjan. I've been wanting to see it. Yeah. How is it? It's a thriller?
Yeah, quite nice. I mean, it's quite nice. Typical abusive Hindi, hinterland, Delhi, UP.
But I'm loving it. I'm loving all these new serials which are coming out. It makes me feel proud of being Indian and of India. I mean, we had such horrid stuff happening before that it's such a pleasure. And Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, I never saw because it just upset me,
I think that's thanks to all the DTH
What's the name again, Gunjan? I didn't catch the name.
Patal Lok.
Patal Lok.
Yeah, I've been hearing very good reviews about it, so I've been wanting to see it.
Is it Amazon or
Sounds
Netflix?
like a horror show. I'm thinking it isn't.
No, it's not a horror show.
Is it on Amazon?
Amazon, yeah.
So great. This was so good. I'm so happy to see all my.
When can we have this again?
And yeah, we should actually now set a book. I mean, we should get a book going, and maybe all of us should read Rebecca again. How about that?
Actually,
Yeah.
I don't mind reading
so
Rebecca
great.
again.
We should read Rebecca. I have
Yeah,
never read it.
sold it so much, right? The way she
Yeah,
like,
I read it when I was 15, 16. I would love to see at 55 what I think of it also.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention that. So in our Gurgaon, or was it here? I forget. I think it was in this book club itself. Maybe Nugur will remember when we read Fountainhead again. Was it here?
No, we didn't read Fountainhead again.
I ran.
So I had read Fountainhead when we were in school, college, and then I reread it now, and I had a completely different view of the book.
Fountainhead was Howard Roark, is it?
Idealism and all
Ayn
that.
Rand.
Like it's
Ayn Rand.
black and white and the gray, and suddenly you see the gray, right? So it's nice sometimes to revisit books now that we are older
And realize that you have developed some gray matter. You haven't been black and white.
It's not just left
And
and
some
right.
unfortunate ones haven't developed grey matter still.
Only grey hair.
Only grey hair.
It's also gone now.
That is also good.
How to get hold of a copy of Rebecca, since I'm not a Kindle person. So any suggestions?
Is it there on Kindle?
Which city are
I
you
can
in?
never read on Kindle. Like, that's out of my league.
Believe
city
me,
are
it's
you in?
one of the best things that, I mean, I used to think one of the best
Seriously.
things about reading is holding the book.
Correct.
But
Correct.
for me, Kindle has really changed it for me. Because I can read anywhere, anytime. It can be the dark room. I don't have to carry
I wish
book.
they would increase the screen size, Anju, to a regular sized book instead of it being so tiny.
No, but it isn't. It doesn't matter. And it's easier to hold. You don't have to use two hands. You hold it with one
Copy
hand.
is open now. Do we know?
It is on Kindle. It is on Kindle.
Photocopy shops open.
I'm sure the shops might be open.
Yeah, it's on Kindle. It is
Pritika,
on
where do
Kindle.
you stay?
Simfruginda.
Ah,
Oh, you're right
you're also
next door.
you're also in Jakarta. I thought maybe you were from another city.
No, I'm from Jakarta.
She's here.
You're right next door, Pratika. I'm in Botanica.
Oh, Anju?
Yes.
All right. Nice to know that.
So Vaishali, how can we source Rebecca?
Let me just check. Let me check my bookshelves and see if it's there.
I can jugado a digital copy and send it to you guys.
So, ठीक है? Done?
Okay,
It is there on Kindle, so for Kindle readers is good. We have
Yeah.
it.
So,
हम
can
चोरी की
you read
पढ़ते हैं.
so Ujjwala, if you can send us digital copies and we'll all read it again.
हाँ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good idea.
Done.
If
That's
I have a
okay.
problem getting it, I'll let you know in the book club thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So 1 month from now.
1 month
Let's
from now.
talk offline about this. Thank you, Poonam.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gunjan. I think that was very interesting. So
Poonam, where's your friend? She was there on the chat. She's vanished.
I think she lost the connection and so she left.
Okay.
There are two of them who we have not spoken to: Pooja, Banthia, and Kintan.
Yeah.
Okay, Kintan.
So Pooja, I have asked her, but hello, Pooja, can you hear us? Oh,
There
yeah.
she is.
Hi,
She's
Pooja.
just put it on mute, so she must have been listening in because it's interesting to listen because if I could.
Eating something really yummy, it seems.
Yeah, actually, I didn't have anything right now to share, so I thought I'll just join and get the recommendations.
Good.
Okay.
Good. That's what I'm always dying for, recommendations.
Yeah, but I've been reading non-fiction right now. So yesterday only I read a book, The Four Agreements. It was by Don Miguel Ruiz. So it's basically talks about how we can be a better person in life by following the four agreements, and we can achieve.
How did you come across the book, if I may ask you?
Sorry?
How did you come across the book?
I think I was Googling something like that, maybe, or I don't remember. Maybe I read in Times of India also, like the book recommendations and all book reviews. So maybe I came across there. I don't remember, but it was in my reading list. So yesterday
the reason I was asking, and not to be rude, but the cover of that book, you know, the picture on the cover of the book is by an artist. I think it's Nick Quilton, and he talked about this book, saying it was one of the first books that he illustrated for, and that's how I came across this book, but I haven't read it, and so that's the reason I asked you how you came across. I was curious to know whether you're an artist.
No, I was just, I think maybe Googling or something like that. So from there, I came across it.
And you're recommending it to us?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can read it. Like I am kind of more interested mostly in like non-fiction books for personal grooming like that. So I read those kind of books more. So if you are interested in that kind of genre, then you can try that. The 4 Agreements.
You should try one of these other ones. You might like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
They give you a lot of tips on self-grooming. The books we talked about. Yeah.
No, this was great. Thank you, Gunjan. Thank you for facilitating this small session.
It was so nice listening to all of you talk about it.
And, you know, something that I saw from this whole session was there was a lot of books which were all female focused. And we all read books and we enjoyed those books which had...
That's
true.
That's true.
And all about, you know, how we can come into our power and be better versions of ourselves. So I think it's great, and how we identify and we read more about the same things. So thank you all. I hope you can join us. We can do some session like this. Or Gunjan, if you do a book club, do include me on it. And
you are in it already.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
As always, I'm sad that it's finishing. Bye.
Happy reading.
I'm missing the food.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.